students, welcome to online classes. This is Unit 6, The Unknown, Section 1, What Lucy Found There, Part 2. In first part, you have seen how Lucy met with the different creature, fawn, Mr. Tumnus. She went with Mr. Tumnus and had a tea and snacks with him. They were good friends now. Now see what happened in the next part. At the bottom of one small valley, Mr. Tumnus turned suddenly aside as if he were going to walk straight into an unusually large rock. But at the last moment, Lucy found he was leading her into the entrance of a cave. Now Lucy was following Tumnus. She thought that Mr. Tumnus is going straight, but suddenly he stopped in front of the cave. That was the entrance of the cave. As soon as they were inside, she found herself blinking in the light of a firewood. Then she saw firewood there. Mr. Tumnus stopped and took a flaming piece of wood out of the fire with a neat little pair of tongs and lit the lamp. Then Mr. Tumnus took a fire with the tongs and lit the lamp. Because that time electricity that was not there. Now we shan't be long, he said, and immediately put a kettle on. Then he said that will not take too much time. Then he put a kettle on. Lucy thought she had never been in a nicer place, and when she entered inside the cave, she was surprised, and that was such a nice place. It was a little dry, clean cave of reddish stone. The cave was made of red stone. There was carpet on the floor, little two chairs were there, table was there, and a dresser and a mantelpiece over the fire. And above that a picture of an old fawn with a grey beard. Now there was a picture of old fawn with a grey beard. In one corner there was a door which Lucy thought must lead to Mr. Tumnus' bedroom. And on the wall was a shelf full of books. Then there was a room. Lucy thought that it is Mr. Tumnus' bedroom, but there was one wall also. It was full of book. So there was bookshelf where books were there. Kettle means a container with a lid used for boiling water. Lucy looked at these while he was setting out the tea things. Lucy was looking everywhere when Mr. Tumnus was setting the things for the tea. They had titles like the life and letters of Silenus or nymphs and their ways, or men, monks and gamekeepers, a study in popular legender, is a man myth. So these were the books kept in the bookshelf. Now daughter of Eve, said the fawn. Suddenly Mr. Tumnus called him daughter of Eve. Silenus means a companion of gods. In Greek mythology, they believe that there is a companion of gods also. Nymph means, in ancient Greek and Roman stories, a spirit. Nymph means a spirit of nature in the form of a young woman. Spirit in the form of young woman that lives in river or woods, etc. So many books were there in the shelf. And really it was a wonderful tea. Tea that is made by Mr. Tumnus, that was wonderful. There was a nice brown egg, lightly boiled for each of them. And then sardines and on toast, and then butter toast, and then toast with honey, and then a sugar topped cake. And when Lucy was tired of eating, the fawn began to talk. These many things were there to eat that Lucy and fawn, they both were enjoying. Lucy ate too much, then fawn began to talk. He had wonderful tales to tell of life in the forest. He told many beautiful stories, many wonderful stories about the forest. He told about the midnight dances, and how the nymphs means spirit in the form of woman that lives in forest and river, lived in the wells, and the dryads who lived in the trees came out to dance with the fawns. About long hunting parties after the milk white stag, who could give you wishes if you caught him, about feasting and treasure seeking with the wild red doves in deep mines and caverns far beneath the forest floor, and then about summer. Then Mr. Tumnus told about nymphs. They lived in the trees, they came out, then danced with the fawn, about long parties after the milk white stags, and they used to dance with the red doves also. So these were the stories told by Mr. Tumnus. Dryad means a female spirit who lives in a tree. When the woods were green and old Silnus on his fat donkey would come to visit them, and sometime Bacchus himself, and then the stream would run with wine instead of water, and the whole forest would give itself up to jollification for weeks on end. Not that it isn't always winter now, he added gloomily. So here Bacchus means a god in the ancient Roman mythology. So in those woods means forest, the forests were green, and old Silenus means those who are the companion of God. On his fat donkey they used to visit them. Sometimes God, Roman God in himself comes, and then the stream would run with wine instead of water. And when the Roman god reaches here, that time in the river instead of water there is wine. The whole forest would give itself up to jollification for weeks. And when they visit, and full forest is full of jollification, happiness. Now that isn't always winter now, he added gloomily. Not every time, but only in winter. So then, to cheer himself up, he took out from its case on the dresser a strange little flute that looked as if it were made of straw, and began to play. Then Mr. Tumnus took out the flute. It was made up of straw, and he started playing. And the tune he played made Lucy want to cry and laugh and dance and go to sleep all at the same time. As Mr. Tumnus started playing on the flute, Lucy was too much surprised, too much happy. She wanted to cry, she wanted to dance, she wanted to laugh, and she wanted to sleep also at the same time. It must have been hours later when she shook herself and said, she was busy in listening the melodious tune of flute. Oh, Mr. Tumnus, I am sorry to stop you, and I do love that tune, but really I must go home. Mr. Tumnus, you played on so nicely, but I have to go home. I only meant to stay for a few minutes. Only for a few minutes I will stay here. Afterwards, I want to go to my home. It's no good now, you know, said the fawn, lying down its flute and shaking its head at her very sorrowfully. This time, Mr. Tumnus was very sad, and he said, it's not good now. He kept the flute and started shaking his head. No good, Lucy, said Lucy, jumping up and feeling rather frightened. No good. Then Lucy said, why it is not good? She was frightened. What do you mean? I have go to home at once. The others will be wondering what has happened to me. I have to go to my home anyhow, because my other companions, they will search for me where I am. But a moment later she asked. Again she asked from Mr. Tumnus, Mr. Tumnus, whatever is the matter? for the fawn's brown eyes had filled with tears. Now Tumnus' eyes were filled with tears. Then the tears began trickling down its cheeks and the tears started falling down. Soon they were running off the end of its nose. At last it covered its face with its hand and began to howl. Suddenly he covered his face and he started howling. Mr. Tumnus, said Lucy in great distress. Now Lucy was too much sad and she was continuously asking from Mr. Tumnus, don't. What is the matter? Aren't you well? Dear Mr. Tumnus, do tell me what is wrong. Tell me what is your problem actually. Maybe she will be sort out the problem. She will sort out the problem of Mr. Tumnus. So this is the second part of the story, what Lucy found there. So watch the video and complete the exercises given by the teacher. Stay at home, stay safe.